Hello everyone, welcome back to our Mudbox rock project. This is where we left off. We were started sculpting on this rock here. So let's go ahead and continue on. Before we were mainly using the sculpt tools, but we're going to use the Flatten one to add some extra details in here. So let's go ahead and just jump in. I have wireframe currently turned on. We'll go ahead and turn that off. Keep that on for right now. Now let's jump up to the subdivision level I'm currently on. Okay, there we are. Let's go ahead and add one more subdivision level in. Let's go ahead and call this base sculpt. We'll go and add another subdivision layer. Okay, so now we're at 797,000 bases. Create ourselves a new layer. We'll call this one detail pass 1. Okay, so the next tool I want to look at is a little bit on the flatten one. You can use that to take something like how this is kind of soft on some of these edges, kind of flatten some of this out. So you make the brush size a little bit bigger. You can experiment with some of these fall-offs. Might give you a little bit more of a look here after. It depends on how you want these areas to be flattened out. Let's bump this up from 15. Let's go up to 100. Okay, like that. Okay. Now all your rocks are going to be different, but I'm just kind of trying to create some areas that will be a little more flat in some spots. I don't want it to look like a lump of chocolate. My stamp spacing lower. Okay. That works good. Now, if you're new to this, and you guys are doing this project, most likely you are, the flatten tool works really good for if you're trying to get rid of some high spots, obviously for flattening some stuff out. It works good on hard surface stuff you're trying to work on. So if, like, let's say you're working on a weapon or some armor, flatten works really well in those areas as well. Okay, so that works for that. I'm okay with that. Maybe flatten some of this out a little bit. Okay, there we go. Alright, so now I want to start driving some detail on this guy. So let's see what our knife tool can do for us. So let's go ahead and just carve in some swatches, turn off my stamp for now. The knife might be a little bit too abrasive, might go back to foamy and just use an inversion, but let's see here. Oop. A little bit too much. Let's go a little bit too much. And let's turn that down to about 2. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Just give myself some cracks and whatnot here and there. and drop you in here. Really, I'm just kind of fooling around with these cracks. I'm gonna do a much more detailed pass in a little bit here, but this kind of just gives me some stuff to kind of work with to begin with. Let's even throw in a little bit of this. See how that plays its role. Kind of jitters it up a little bit. Okay. That's good. All right. Let's soften these up a little bit. So I'm just gonna use my smooth. Use turn smooth on. Just kind of go over these guys just lightly. Or if you want, you can sharpen them up and do a pinch instead. That'll make them to where they close up and they're not so thick. Then you can smooth it out a little bit as well. Just makes it where they're and for I don't know if you saw, I didn't really switch back and forth on the tool, and the reason why is just because I just held down shift, and that switches over to smooth automatically. Okay, I'm just gonna do a quick pass over real quick with this smooth on, just feed that back in there. Okay. Okay, that's alright. Like that. Okay. Okay, so and something else you want to keep in mind here is that these may look a little bit of kind of out there. You can always lower like the opacity on this layer, so we can always bring this down so they are not affecting so much on the layer. Just make it where they're very subtle scratches if you want. So I'm gonna leave them in at full volume for now until I decide I want them to be different. Okay, so that's good for this. Let's go ahead and move into introduction to some of our texturing tools. So let's go and we're going to look at doing a projection. So I'm going to go over to stencil, and this one I'm going to probably turn on. Let's do foamy, and we're going to turn on our stencil over here. And let's look at, let's see here. Let's try this one first. I'm going to start another sculpt layer for this as well, so let's go ahead and just add one in. Say detail, texture 2. Okay, and let's see how that looks. We're gonna. Okay, that looks pretty cool. Let's go back over to foamy. Okay. So then I could just paint in some of this texture based off the projection. So it might be a little bit too intense. Let's bring it down to 8. Okay. Now this is based off of the picture, so if you get too close to the edges, you'll notice that it'll kind of bleed around the sides, so be careful of that. And the bleeding will make it to where it looks like the texture is stretched. Okay. Let's go ahead and bigger, rotate it. If you're unclear with the projection stuff, in the bottom left here it tells you how to manipulate these textures. So move is all with S, left button, right button, middle button, with, and then Q for dealing with the manipulation of this guy. Okay, so there we go. Okay, we're hitting 12 minutes now, so a couple more minutes on this, and then I'm going to try see if I can button this up so that I can be done with this particular projection, and then pick up texturing in the next video. But let's see here, I'll make my brush size a little bigger, and I'll speed the process. Just kind of do some of this. That's good. Okay. Alright, we're almost there. Okay, see what we got. See if I missed any spots. I'll hit Q, that made the stencil go away. Alright, yeah, it looks pretty good. Not too bad. One spot I'm not really digging into this little loop thing going on here. Might have to go back in the next lesson and adjust that just a little bit. That's just me. It's a little bit funny. But the texture is looking nice. If it's feeling too intense for you guys, just like the other layer, you can always drop this down a little bit and say, okay, let's go down to something more like that maybe. Up to you. Maybe go over to this one and bring that down a little bit as well. Okay, it's coming along. Alright, so we're at 15 minutes now, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off on this one, and I'll pick it up in the next lesson. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next lesson.